Hey, is this a safe place to durdle? Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And I decided I wanted to have some fun today. So I'm going to cash in a dealer's choice donation deck list from Mark and play some Birthing Ritual. As a heads up, the donation queue is getting a little light as of the time of recording. I am recording a ton before PAX Unplugged because PAX Unplugged into Thanksgiving is going to eat away at 5 days of my recording time. So if you got something you want to see on the channel, check out every video description for a link to the website for how to make that happen. Birthing Ritual is a very, very fun card that is also quite powerful. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature, look at the top 7 cards of your library. Then you can sacrifice a creature. If you do, you may put a creature card with mana value X or less from among those cards onto the battlefield, where X is 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value. And the rest go on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, we would, in theory, like to have consistent access to Birthing Ritual, and so we are going to cascade into it. When we cast a Shardless Agent, we either get a Birthing Ritual or an Up the Beanstalk, both of which are rather powerful cards. And both of those things work well with the overcosted creatures that we are going to be seeing from this deck. This is a deck list from Punishing Waterfalls, a great brewer, and I was intrigued when I saw Magmatic Hellkite, and I knew that I wanted to play the list. So this is a 4/5 flyer. When it enters, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Its controller searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, with a stun counter on it. So sometimes you play these effects and your opponent just turns it into a basic and it's like, whatever. The stun counter is kind of real here. And we did some pretty silly things previously with Omnath, and I am looking forward to hopefully doing it again. This is a Yorion deck list, so there's going to be a lot of variation in how our games play out. The mana base is a little complicated. Again, that'll always be linked to in the video description via Moxfield if you want to really go into it and critique the mana base. But I'm just going to kind of trust what's here and hopefully have a fun afternoon screwing around with Birthing Ritual. And with that, let's go ahead and hop into this video here. Folks, if you need any Magic cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, toamagic.com. They're great. Honestly, I use them for my own personal shopping. I think you should too. And if you do, promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order. They tend to have 95% of all the standard legal stuff at any given time. So you need any of those new sweet avatar cards, they'll be there. All right, let's battle. Boy, this is a weird hand. Fine as long as I don't get wastelanded. Land and pass the turn, and this is the Abzan one. Not wasteland. We've got wood elves for days here. Let's just go ahead and get that going. I just need red mana here. Now, I would like to just rip another natural red source if possible to just get in there immediately with the Hellkite. A Solitude instead. Sure. We've got other options for this turn that are fine. If I just get pinged by a Bowmaster here, I do. It's going to make the rest of this turn a little awkward. I think I'm still playing Wood Elves. Oh, Wood Elves does not fetch me another red source. Whoops. Noted. Yet Tropical Island. And I think I will go ahead and play an Up the Beanstalk, despite the slight awkwardness here of like playing a 1-drop creature and then... Oh, well, we don't even get to do it. Land comes back down. Another Bowmasters, sure. I may end up solituding those away. I don't care about them too much, but like they are in play and I will in theory be drawing more cards. So now I don't have white or red or all of these colors at the same time. That's very awkward. So I guess this becomes just put Yorion into hand. I will have a few different blue cards that I can pitch for Force of Will. I think given the clunkiness of this hand here, I'm going to just take out a Bowmaster now. Opponent says no. Okay. I will take 4 going to 9. That's going to resolve. I've lost Force of Will. This is pretty unfortunate. I don't have any creature to get Birthing Ritual started. Going to be at 5 life here, where I take this hit. So I need mana. Okay, this is not ideal, but hopefully it's good enough. Blue, red, green, white. There's Omnoth. Unfortunately, is going to trigger some Bowmasters. I'm going to end up at 3 here. Made my land drop, and now we move to this trigger at end of turn. Finding something like a Solitude off this trigger is big game. Hey, it's a Solitude. So sack that. Put in Solitude. I take out the Orc Army token here. The others are blockable via the Solitude. This does not eat it to a Fatal Push, which is pretty cool right now. One that says no to a Wasteland. They want some sort of like Brazen Borrower effect that can just bounce the Solitude out of the way. Alright, no attacks. That's great for me. Quantum Riddler. That's a weird one. I think I'm doing it. I think it's just weird. I think I swing in with my Solitude, attempting to get my 3 life. I succeed. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. This will trigger the Bowmasters, but I think I've got to believe in the Birthing Ritual to pull further ahead here. So I will draw a card. A second Birthing Ritual. Sick. I should lose the Solitude to these triggers. That seems pretty obvious to me. Opponent disagrees and sends at face. I will go to 4. But now I'm going to get 2 separate Birthing Ritual triggers at end of turn. Okay, I will get 1. Alright, opponent is Reanimator, or Blue-Black Show and Tell list. End of turn, Quantum Riddler trigger on bottom. Could have hit better creatures here. I will sacrifice the Riddler and put in a Subtlety. No legal triggers there. Missing on a creature, well, effectively missing on a creature is kind of annoying there. This dies to Fatal Push in a way that any 5-drop would not. Alright, and we are chilling. Okay, fantastic. I don't get to hardcast that. I'm thinking about whether or not I am willing to make that trade. I think we're just staring at each other, and I farm Birthing Ritual value. I could also just pitch cast a Solitude and remove this token, and then relatively safely attack in. Yeah, I don't hate that. Okay, my opponent had to take a phone call, but they are back now, and they have conceded the game. At this point, our Birthing Ritual just takes things over. So, seeing the Atraxa here, my opponent could be just a show and tell deck. I think it's more likely that they are trying to force Reanimator. So we should expect some things like Careful Study that can do some looting out of our opponent here. I don't know that we're going to want Force of Negation here. I think it's more likely that I plan on playing a game versus Tamios and Bowmasters and Barrowgoyfs and whatnot. And if they have the reanimation stuff, they have the reanimation stuff. Do I even want Force of Will? I think I'm going to turn Subtleties into Endurances. And then I kind of just want to be able to cast my cards. Shardless Agent gets much worse if I board in Carpet of Flowers. Still just a good value card. I think I'm treating this as if I am playing against a blue tempo deck, rather than treating this as if it's a combo deck. So let's do this. I have 2 lands plus a Spirit Guide. This probably works out. I'll have to think about my mana a little bit. Opponent mulliganing very, very quickly here, and keeping on 5 cards. Let's see what they've got. I don't really want to lose Carpet of Flowers to a Thoughtseize. It is a Tameo. That's a darn good Magic the Gathering card right there. Okay, so I need this to be probably green-blue. There's Tropical Island into Carpet. I don't have anything to do with 1 mana immediately. I will just say no to that. Wasteland is good, obviously. If you squint at it, funny, it's kind of like denying 2 mana at the same time. Because it... Oh, wow. Not where I thought that was going. I'm very, very happy that I did not get Wastelanded. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to add a green. I play Witch Enchanter here. I think I just play Endurance to get in the way of Tameo. I have to do it now because of Carpet of Flowers, and I want this to be a surprise for if my opponent does have days. Alright. blue, and then brainstorming in response. Sure, sure, sure. My opponent can get a Tamiyo, plus wasteland my tropical island. Oh, they're going to give me extra mana with that. I'm super happy about that, because mana is definitely a bottleneck for me right now. Oh, they're not even going to wasteland me. Sick. Let's say yes to this. Make green. Make a land drop with wood elves. I probably want red. Put that directly into play. I think I'm going to take 3 here to play around days without using Spirit Guide. Do the birthing ritual, and move to end step and try to upgrade wood elves, which I succeed at. Omnoth or Hellkite. My opponent needs their wasteland mana. This is a 4/4. This is a 4/5. This has evasion. I'm going to do Hellkite. I will take out an Underground Sea. My opponent gets a stunned Swamp. They can still answer this via Tamiyo Fatal Push. Thoughtseize is good. I lose an Omnoth. That's potentially the wrong one to take. It is much easier for me to cast Magmatic Hellkite off of Carpet mana than it is for Omnoth, but I didn't do all the permutations of my mana versus Wasteland. Oh, they're just plussing. That feels wrong. Sure. And Up the Beanstalk. We'll do things in second main. Send in at Tamiyo for 3. Then I will say yes. I'll make a bunch of red mana. I just cast this around days. Take out a land. There's an island. Then I think I'm willing to use this Spirit Guide. Okay, cool. That's another reasonable Magic the Gathering card. Then I will say yes to that. Sacrifice this one. Get this Hellkite. Blow up that land. Now my opponent should be out of basics. I make my Carpet of Flowers worse. But, like, I in theory don't really need to cast spells for the remainder of this game. Like, I just get to attack and kill Tamiyo next turn. And probably do Shardless Agent stuff as well. Okay, there's the Reanimator stuff. So, do green. This is a little annoying. It's silly how good Tamiyo is as a magic card. I'll say no to that. As a 4/5, this does not kill my creatures, so I still get to push damage on Tamiyo. This now takes Tamiyo outside of range of Fatal Pushing. I will Lush Portico, and things that aren't creatures just go to the bottom here because I'm about to do a Birthing Ritual trigger. Oh shit, I could have put Yorion into my hand there. Yes. I'll sacrifice one of these, grab Solitude, Solitude the Hellkite. Yeah, not putting Yorion into my hand there is a pretty big mistake. Tamiyo pluses. Animate Dead on an Omnoth. Sure. I've gotten a Misty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 mana. Go ahead and do this pre-combat. So bam, bam, bam. Shardless Agent. There's another Birthing Ritual. That's fantastic. This is in play. Are we done? Okay, yeah, we are done there. So if I put the Yorion into my hand last turn, I get to attack Tamiyo and then cast Yorion, Blink Solitude, remove Omnoth. This ends up working out well, but that was a slip on my part. The blue-black Reanimator deck is much, much worse than it used to be. Finally, after a series of bannings, perhaps that deck is in check. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Okay, if our opponent is not a blue deck, I get to go ham on turn 1. If they are a blue deck, I have to decide whether or not I want to risk it all on a daze. They are a blue deck. If my turn 1 is Shardless Agent, my turn 2 is just redraw with a Quantum Riddler, it might just be better to pass the turn and then do something like Omnoth on turn 2. with 2 spirit guides and 2 actual lands, I can just do Omnath on 2. Um, let's do this and just gather a turn worth of information before deciding whether or not I'm willing to just YOLO. My turn 2 is insane if I YOLO, and maybe that is reason enough to just go for it. This Shardless Agent into Ritual, play Riddler is silly. Rixus? Or Steelcutter. You've got it. Opponent bobbles to make their monk. So I think on average, my Birthing Ritual will outvalue their Corey's Steelcutter, but everything does have to just work. Can I Surveil land? Sure. Hellkite? That's a damn good bait spell. I think I'm going to take that as a bait spell that clears some counter spells out of my opponent's hand. So this costs me this Spirit Guide, and then I throw down on the... Oh shit, it just resolved. We could have gone fucking wild. Lightning Bolt doesn't kill this. Fatal Push does kill this. Go after this land. No basic land. Hell yeah. So opponent ponders. So there are either no basic lands in their deck, or they just have them in hand. This is fine. This is not a problem at all. Like, the monk tokens over there are not attacking, and I am about to grind a disgusting amount of value out of my opponent. It does cost me 2 life, though. So there's Shardless Agent into Birthing Ritual. That was good enough for a Force of Will. Do it again next turn. I think I don't attack. I think I am just trying to survive until I get the mana source to cast this Shardless Agent. The opponent makes their land drop and passes. Okay, cool. There's my mana source. I will fetch. I need blue or green. You pick up a white as a secondary color. One of the colors in Omnath here. Does cost me 2 more life. Cascade into another Birthing Ritual. Okay, and my opponent is just like, fuck that. I'm out. So, that was pretty sweet. We're probably going to sideboard very similarly as we did last round, where I want Endurances and Carpets. I think Subtleties are going to become Endurances. I think those kind of do the same job, but Endurance is 1 less mana. I think I'm going to trim a Leshnorn and some Force of Wills like I did before. Force of Will is pretty interesting on Corey Steelcutter, though. Corey Steelcutter is something that can run me over before I get this endgame going. But I just kind of like the rest of the cards in my deck. This is 1 land. I think that's just a very easy way to lose, despite the fact that I do have a Solitude here, whereas this is just a very, very solid hand. I think I'm going to pitch Omnath here. I think Omnath is just the hardest to cast if I do get Wastelanded. We've got a Tamiyo. Sure thing. I have a very solid hand here. I don't want to see this Tamiyo transformed via a Brainstorm immediately. I think I don't care too much about my opponent acquiring the clues, but I do very much care about Tamiyo becoming a clock. Okay. That one's fine. Now, cool. There's not another one. I'm gonna fetch here and probably Surveil. Yeah, I'll Surveil. I don't think I need another Birthing Ritual here. I will go ahead and fetch. I will pick up a red mana source, a Taiga, and get the beans going. Daze is fine. The land going back to my opponent's hand means that it's harder to crack the clue and convert on the Tamiyo value. So this is okay in the short term. Ooh, Leyline Binding. I'm going to I guess I would do it now, right? So I guess, is there an Underground Sea? There's not an Underground Sea. Awkward. I want black and blue for Leyline Binding purposes. I have to settle for one of the two. And I will do this. And I think I am trying to get the beans established here. Good enough for a response. An Orcish Bowmasters, that resolves. This does cost 2. I think I'm just accepting that. Taking the extra ping from Bowmasters. That's not bad. I think this is a time where I just start removing stuff. Let's go Solitude, pitching Omnath. This does draw me a card immediately, which pings again for Bowmasters. Oh shit, that's a very good draw, actually. Ooh, that's annoying. I get pinged. I think I just do this now. I'll get pinged one more time. Fuck! That was devastating. Well, that was about as bad as that could go. So the goal there was to remove Bowmasters and Tamiyo while my opponent was tapped out. And yeah, if I had waited to untap and tried to remove Tamiyo then, I would have run into that as well. That was a I had it all moment. Daze, Force, Brainstorm. And the Bowmasters too. Like, the Bowmasters was also quite bad. My land is also an ETB tapped land, which does not help. Tamiyo gets to plus this turn and then minus next turn to grab Force of Will. Believe? We believe. In case it's not clear what I am talking about, I need to draw an untapped land here. I need an untapped land off 2 draws, or playing Birthing Ritual and then doing something to answer one of these 3 permanents. That's almost good. So now I throw down Birthing Ritual, and we stack this so the Riddler one is on bottom. Okay. I will sacrifice this. This is a 6/6 already. I don't know that I can just draw another card here. The 4/6. I think we're doing this. Take out Underground Sea. And this is a hard land destruction spell in this matchup from the look of things. My Up the Beanstalk draw happening before I remove these creatures is a little rough. If this Solitude had been 1 card deeper in my deck, I just get it, and then I remove either Orc Army token or Orcish Bowmasters, and I'm in pretty good shape. Instead, I can maybe use Yorion as a pitch card. Alright, Tamiyo pluses to 6. This is a problem. That doesn't help me either. My opponent doesn't know it. These are my valuable lands right now, in actuality. I don't know that it matters, though, because I think most of the time I end up chump blocking here and then dying to Tamiyo, or just to the Orc Army token over the next turn or 2. My opponent gets their redraw. That's not castable. So, Ancient Tomb is a no from me. Do I pitch Omnath instead and keep Yorion in hand? I'm going to pitch Omnath. Sometimes I draw a Wood Elves here. Holy shit, it's a Wood Elves! Let's fucking go, Wood Elves! Alright. Take out Orc Army token. Evoke you. Cast Wood Elves. Hope for no days. No days. Get the Triome into play. Alright. Deck, I could use some help here. Okay, nice. Sacrifice this. Get a respectable sized body into play. And clear my opponent's graveyard. Okay. The Tamiyo going to 8 is still a huge problem. I need something to take Bowmasters out of play now, or to draw like a Leyline Binding that directly answers the Tamiyo. Opponent can crack clues now with another land. It is a Nethergoyf. Sure. That's 2 blockers. Alright, I guess I'm sending in. I shrink down to a 2/4. Opponent lets Nethergoyf die. I cast a Magmatic Hellkite. I go for your black source here again. I think I don't tap Ancient Tomb. I can get Riddler or Omnath. So I get Omnath, and Omnath is... well, no. Quantum Riddler is 2 redraws towards Leyline Binding. Okay. We're still in it, baby. Quantum Riddler. 2 redraws. I get Bowmaster pinged to 2, which is why we did not tap Ancient Tomb to put Yorion to hand. Alright. So I'm dead to a lot of different things here. Another Bowmasters to face does it. Price of Progress. Yeah. That'll do. I might not have shown that card if you had something else you could have killed me with. That's a really, really, really important card to know about. Like, that might be important enough that I consider going up on Force of Wills. Like, not counting the Witch Enchanters as creatures, but counting them as lands. Don't know how much I want to take any other things out of the deck. There's, like, Subtlety for Bowmasters, I guess. I have 8 removal spells for Bowmasters and a Force. I could go down some things that cantrip like Omnath and play a couple more Forces. I think I'm not going to do that. With Subtleties out of the deck, my Force of Will count is actually pretty darn low. Okay, I've got lands and spells. Misty... think I want the Taiga in the deck for later. You can just get something like a Trop here. And I'll throw down on carpet. Hope my opponent does not have Force of Will. F. That's pretty bad for me. The way that I lose this one is by not playing Magic. I am willing to take 2 here to just be casting a spell this turn. Alright, my setup is here. I can't get a creature into play yet. And the Ancient Tombs don't play well with all of these pips in my hand. There's End of Turn Brainstorm to help smooth things out for my opponent. I bet my opponent's chances to win this game went up like 20% when they had the Force of Will for that Carpet of Flowers. That's fine. I have multiple different answers to that in hand. One that says no to Force of Will, and then just cycles. How many card types in graveyard? 3 card types over there. Fantastic. So my opponent said no to a Force of Will. This resolved. I think there's a very good chance that if I play an Endurance right now, it does resolve. I think we're going green-white on this land. We are not going green-white on this land. Green-red then? Green-red then. This is not dazable. We did have another force, unfortunately for us. Wild saying no to a Bowmasters. Bowmasters was insane last game. Maybe they don't have the mana for it immediately. That's no to a Force of Negation. Yeah, no Savannah is brutal. I don't have guaranteed Leyline Binding next turn. Ooh-wee. I'm totally fine if I resolve a creature, and very dead if I don't. Yep. This is scary. Okay, there's a Surveil land. I can Hellkite next turn. That costs too much life for me to want to keep that right now. Like, I want an untapped land, not that one. So I'm going to take half of my life total as damage here. Go to 5, which is kind of like 3 life if I have to tap this Ancient Tomb, which hopefully I don't. 3 of the Force of Wills are in graveyard, though. So if I cast a creature, it is incredibly likely to actually just resolve. So, big choice. I can cast one of these 2 creatures. This is the second time in this same game that not having Savannah has bit me in the ass. So, my green-white lands are both ETB tapped, which means that I can't do Wood Elves into Leyline Binding. I'm dead to Lightning Bolt if I play Hellkite. I'm already dead to Price of Progress either way. If I play Wood Elves, I have to hit an answer to a DRC or I die. If I play Hellkite, I have to hit an answer to DRC or I die. So I guess what's my distribution? Hellkite lets me go up to Solitude. Am I realistically dead either way? Because like if I hit Solitude, I remove one of these, I can't block the other. What am I looking for? Riddler as redraw into Solitude, which means playing Hellkite. Okay, figured it out. It's just not good. I'll take out a land. So, Birthing Ritual. Endurance? Endurance maybe keeps me from dying. Okay, let's do that. I'll nuke that graveyard now. Now, if my opponent can fully refuel their graveyard, I do die. Otherwise, I get a chance to draw white mana to remove one of these or play Wood Elves. Molten Collapse. So that's only 2 card types in graveyard. Ancient Tomb is off. I'm going to 1. My opponent topped a card. There's a very good chance that that is just going to be a Lightning Bolt. So there's Wood Elves. Untapped Forest doesn't mean much. Let's do Triome to play. I'll Surveil. I will say no to Up the Beanstalk. So I can't go from 3 to 5, unfortunately. We're saying no there. Alright. Am I dead to Lightning Bolt? Polluted Delta. I am dead to Bowmasters instead. That'll do. I was so close to bringing that one back. We fought for it. We got some lucky redraws. But that carpet not resolving, I think, won my opponent the game. GG's. Okay. We've got an opening hand with Up the Beanstalk and theoretical access to Birthing Ritual. We'll see how quickly my opponent comes out of the gates here with things like the One Ring. I will just go ahead and use this turn to throw down my Triome. Alright, they've got it. Immediate Karn the Great Creator. I think that just gets liquid metal coating and the game is over. I don't think I recover from that. Moon Snare prototype instead. Okay. Game's not over then. Let's get the beans going. And more beans. So opponent may have Force of Will in hand and they just needed a blue card to pair with it. Now opponent gets to Karn again. There's Lattice. So I suspect that my opponent just has Force of Will protecting Mycosynth Lattice for next turn. Another Karn. Sure. Opponent tutors yet again and picks up the One Ring. So this is Abzan plus red plus blue. Go ahead and play this. This will be 1 mana. I guess we are doing another set of beans. The hope here is to do that. And then I do this. All right. I mean, you got double Karn, 1 ring, protected by 2 counter magic. Okay. I have no further plays, and I'm just going to be dead to Mycosynth Lattice. Yep. All right. We even got to attempt to bait there. So, yeah. And yeah. So now the real question is, do I go and make Gaddock Teague the only Shardless Agent target, along with Collector Oof? That might be too cute. Go Aleshnorn out. We probably want to leave our blue cards here for Force of Will and Force of Negation stuff. That might mean trimming something like Solitude is then correct. Just go down one other random card somewhere else. Alright, my opening hand has the ability to surveil and take a redraw off Up the Beanstalk. I'm going to hope that that's good enough. My deck is going to be slow to get off the ground. I have Magmatic Hellkite for the medium term here. And we are going to respect red from early on here, I think. That's not one of my ideal draws, but I'm going to say that that's good enough. Absolutely fine with Up the Beanstalk. All right. Suppression Ray. Tap things. Okay. There's Planar Nexus. That does mean that my opponent gets to jump up some mana. Voice of Victory. You've got it. Slightly annoying card. I think I just let that hit me a little bit. I'll go Taiga. 2 Wood Elves. The black is definitely relevant for Leyline Binding right now, so I will take the Triome. I have Abzan plus blue-red. Leyline Binding is 1 mana next turn. So next turn I get Hellkite and Leyline Binding, which seems fine to me. Another Cloud Post. I will assume that I can absorb more than 1 damage with this later, or that like Birthing Ritual becomes important later. Ooh, good with that. No, I think I still Hellkite. So we're going to go 1 mana Leyline Binding, and this is my bait spell for if my opponent has a force effect. It is Force of Negation. There's a Hellkite. If I take out Planar Nexus, my opponent still has 4 from Cloud Posts, so let's take out a Cloud Post. Opponent does have basic Island. I will send in for 1. And hopefully I start to turn the corner on this game now. That's the downside of not taking out Planar Nexus. Ugh. And my opponent passes the turn. I mean, what am I going to do? Not cast this Hellkite? So there's Hellkite. This time I think I have to take out the Planar Nexus. It's supporting both Cloud Post and Urza's Tower right now. I'm going to make this... I am going to put Yori into hand because that's kind of silly with 2 Hellkites. Crash in 4/4. Now the problem here is that my opponent can still just go land drop 4 mana 1 ring. If they don't, life is bad for them. Thunder Trap Trainer? They could find a Force of Will. They don't find a Force of Will, and they concede. So I now know that Voice of Victory is something that I need to care about. I still have Subtleties, Leyline Binding. Might want to do a split of Solitudes and Force of Negations. The Force of Negations are just so much better versus Ring and Karn, and I'd probably Force of Negation a stock up as well. Yeah, I think this is a if they've got it situation, and I try to beat it if they have it, but I don't know that I want the Solitudes in the deck. No. That mana does not work. Well, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. So I always need these three. I always need Force of Will. I think I'm going to pitch Force of Negation and hope to draw something blue that I can pitch to Force of Will. Opponent is on 5, so we have both mulliganed here. That means that I can surveil land. Although I could just get my Triome. We'll see. Alright, I don't have to Force of Will immediately. I am happy about that. I will fetch. I could do green-white, or I can get green, white, and black at the same time. The Surveil feels like a big deal right now, though. Like, I would love a blue card here. I'll say no to the land. Spirit Guide is not ideal. Bunch of things could happen here. Not the one that I wanted, but we'll take it. I have a Force of Will. I wanted, ooh, nice. That's a good pickup. So now I have Force of Will with Up the Beanstalk and Collector Oof coming. Not bad. Oh, more Spirit Guide. Combat. Send it. Opponent goes to 18. There's Collector Oof, which has resolved. I think that's good. Glimmer Post. Big Mana's online. No plays from my opponents yet. I want to stop drawing these Spirit Guides. Send in. Opponent's at 16. I think Yorion is coming to hand as just another blue card for Force of Will. And then I think next turn I hard cast a Quantum Riddler. Alright, so opponent has mana and apparently nothing to do with it. That's also very good to just cast. Send on in. 12. There's some weird timelines here where I actually want to use Spirit Guide mana. I think I am willing to blow a Spirit Guide to keep open the possibility of just casting this Quantum Riddler if I Shardless Agent into Birthing Ritual. So trigger, that's Birthing Ritual. That's a Force of Will. I don't think I fight over that. I still just have a 2-turn clock in play. So I think I just accept that. I think it's too important to be able to counter the One Ring. I think Yorion is currently my pitch. Hoo. That's a big Ugin. Force of Will, pitching Yorion, draw a card, the Riddler, nice. So I lose my Beans. I still get to attack my opponent for half of their life total. Hellkite. Hellkite's okay. Send on in. Opponent is at 3. There's some weird Quantum Riddler redraw lines here that I think I am just not going to think about too much. I think I just do this and take out a Cloud Post. Opponent can get their tapped stunned island, and they can fog with the One Ring, but they can't draw cards with it. So, you know, save something crazy like an All Is Dust there. We were doing pretty well. We had redraws earlier in the game if my opponent had cast something, and like if they had something, I counter it and then I get some bonus cards with Quantum Riddlers. So I think we were in a pretty good position that entire time. GG. I think I am a land short of this one being keepable here. I would like some mana stability. Well, this is the mana that I wanted. On 6, I'll probably keep this. I think I'll just pitch the Ancient Tomb here. I could play Up the Beanstalk on 1 before it is dazable, before it is thought seized. I think I'm gonna do that, as weird as that feels. Maybe go Tropical Island. Beans. Hey. Well, Cavernous Souls probably means this card is a lot less good. Not that I really wanted to pitch Shardless Agent anyway. And opponent says hello. I'm going to assume that this is some sort of humans deck with +1/+1 counters. Oh, maybe not. Maybe this is just initiative. Since Zach Fair got printed, we've been seeing the tiniest possible amount of resurgence of humans. Yeah, this is initiative. So I don't get to subtlety that Caves of Chaos Adventurers due to Cavern of Souls, but man, that would have been good. Getting a Spirit Guide and Lotus Petal for my trouble. I might be able to outvalue this deck. I think to win, Shardless Agent needs to hit Birthing Ritual and not Up the Beanstalk. Or alternatively, my next 2 draws are a Solitude and a white card. Not the case. So this turn will just be a Surveil land of some kind. Now my opponent is going to get to Forge. Get attack for 7. Disgusting. No. Opponent might either need mana or threats. Or they're trying to play around Swords to Plowshares, which I don't have right now. Or at all. Bottom. Okay, so they are pretty clearly looking for something. You get the attack trigger or an Under Mountain Adventurer. Giant Warrior there. So Cavernous Soul's not gonna stop that one. Or rather, make that one uncounterable. That's rough. I'm gonna have to subtlety that. Let's do this with full knowledge here. White or red? Let's do red in respect of casting a 4-drop a couple turns from now. The second one of those is not good. So this just buys me some time here. We'll see whether my opponent wants to put that on top or bottom. Top. Leyline Binding. That's not bad. I'll have 4 of my colors. I think I just remove this now in case I redraw something castable. No, I don't think I can redraw anything castable. I think I do white-red here. Let's just Leyline Binding, take my redraw, another land, take out the Caves of Chaos Adventurer, and now I've set myself up so that I have a basic land that I can play into Archon in case I rip a 4-drop creature. Still in upkeep? Yeah. Still in upkeep? Alright. I figured it out. Alright, that's fine. That is scary. Yeah. That's very clearly the one to hit. Damn it! And I would have gotten away with it if not for that stupid Wasteland and Archon of Emeria. What's my basic land situation like in this deck? Forest, Island, Plains. So you can be Island next turn. I need to actually fetch in my upkeep. I'm just not threatening the Undercity though, so I suspect that Throne of the Dead 3 just ends up beating me this turn. Thunder Mountain Adventurer is a known card. And cards in the revealed zone. Yikes. I think this is enough. I think I can see the writing on the walls here. I'm not sure if I'm sideboarding here. Carpet's bad. Force of Negation is questionable. Endurance is a creature that attacks and blocks. I'm not sure that any of this is better than the cards that are in the main deck. It's not like I have extra removal to bring in or anything here. This is 2 lands plus Force of Will and a Birthing Ritual. I'm going to say that this is good enough. Blue, red, Surveil. Don't have Savannah, can't green, white. Okay, what about green, white, Surveil, green, white, Surveil, and then Volcanic Island. Okay. Gotta work a little bit with this mana base here. That was a long time on that Once Upon a Time there. Opponent eventually did select a creature. City of Traders, a Lotus Petal, Rome Mox, Caves Going Under, and an Archon of Emeria. There are scarier creatures, but I think I just take my Force of Will here and assume that getting a Birthing Ritual into play and then playing some creatures a little bit later on will be very, very, very strong. So Lush Portico, I'm looking for a 3rd land drop here. So despite the fact that Wood Elves is a good card, it's not what I want / need right now. Oh, that's pretty good. The red pips here are not ideal. That's like the perfect things to pair with Wood Elves, unfortunately. Alright, this is red, Volcanic Island. There's my inevitability. Now we just need to stick a creature to get this going. Like, the Birthing Ritual is my version of the initiative. You fool. You absolute fool. That is so fucking funny. Holy shit. That's great for me. So 1, 2, 3. Yori into hand. Opponent does not have white mana right now. Move this stop as well. This is very funny how this has played out. Because from my opponent's perspective, slamming a Magus of the Moon on that board is batshit insane. Another one. Yep. Now I just need to hit any land drop. Negative. Okay, I mean, Force of Will is a very good draw. If it's not going to be a land, that is the card that I want. You can have that one. I will take 4, go to 11. That's not a land. Hopefully I don't die for not Force of Willing Simian Spirit Guide. I'll take 6. I hit my land drop. There's the Hellkite. This is obligatory, unfortunately. If Magus of the Moon leaves play, I don't want my opponent to have Wasteland, I think. I would have skipped this trigger if I was given the option to do so. So I can get Wood Elves here and get a basic forest, but I don't think that's better than having the 4/5 body. I'm just going to say no to that. Opponent has a mountain. Everybody's coming in. Do I want Magus of the Moons in play? Like, these cost me life. I think you get to keep Magus of the Moon at 1. So I get to now play Magmatic Hellkite. Again, this is obligatory. Opponent's got their basic planes. We are riding the lightning on the edge of death. I do have a subtlety. That helps out a little bit. Not gonna risk attacks in case I miss here. Solitude is not bad. Omnath gains me 4 life on any land drop, which turns Force of Will back on. I think I'm into that. Redraw. Hopefully I don't lose to a fucking Pyroblast for making that decision. Disruptor Flute resolves on Omnath? Not sure that I understand. That's not going to stop my triggered ability. Like, opponent is just passing the turn. Nope, they've got a Cavernous Souls. That is a creature. I will simply subtlety that. So I'll junk Yorion, I think. I'm about to gain life to turn Force of Will on. The Magus shutting off Cavern there, like, super matters. Alright. That's great. So, landfall, gain 4, go to 5. I've used Yorion already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Magmatic Hellkite. Take out another land. There should be a basic mountain in there. There is. Go to combat. I think I send both in. What if my opponent double blocked Omnath, actually? Then it costs me 4 life. I'm not willing to lose Omnath. I will attack with a Hellkite, though. Alright, now Quantum Riddler, Solitude. Getting the redraw for Force of Will is really big here. Yeah, that feels big. So there's Quantum Riddler. There's the blue card. Hell yeah. I think we're going to bring this one back from literal 1 life. 5-color deck casually playing through Magus of the Moon like it's fucking nothing. Force of Will, pitch that. Now I just have half of my opponent's life total in the air. Gain 4 more life with Omnath. Gross. At this point, what if my opponent double blocked Omnath now that I'm at 8? That now seems fine. What about my opponent just taking 12, though? Go to 4. Let's leave the Omnath back. And then Birthing Ritual. Say no. Might need to say yes because of Broadside specifically. But if Broadside happens, I block, take 2 plus 5 is 7. Oh, that's awkward. Okay. I accept. Let's play around Broadside randomly killing me. Seasoned Dungeoneer. That occurs. I don't believe my opponent is going to have another basic. I imagine they are running exactly 3. So something disgusting is going to happen on my turn, and I love it. So I don't have lethal, since I got rid of one of my flyers to play around Broadside. But I send in for 4, take the initiative, allows me to get a basic plains. Play basic plains, gain 4 life. Alesh Norn and Leyline Binding are both nuts. I think I just do Leyline Binding. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Leyline Binding. Take out Seasoned Dungeoneer. Birthing Ritual. Yes. Wood Elves over Solitude. I think my life total is fine. Sacrifice Shardless Agent or Wood Elves. Wood Elves, or Basic Forest. Omnath thing happens. I can't use the mana right now, but it sure did happen. Ah, damn. We brought it back from 1 life. Woo! Gotta do it again, though. Match is not over. I can't get any better at answering Magus of the Moon. Subtlety and Force at Will are there, though. I don't know that I get to fetch basics. My mana might just be bad enough that that's not a reasonable thing to do. If this is a blue-green land, I play Birthing Ritual into a Quantum Riddler and hopefully go nuts. Once Upon a Time from the opponent. Cavern of Souls, the grab there, which is not coming down immediately. That's a Magus of the Moon. I've got a Solitude for that. I think I let my opponent hit me with the Solitude once in hopes of them, hit me with the Magus in hopes of them not being able to play a follow-up spell because of their own Magus. And sometimes they play Cavern of Souls, and Cavern of Souls doesn't actually get a card type called by it. Yeah, so I will just take the 2 here so that they are less likely to be able to play something else this turn. Then I will go ahead and Solitude, take out the Magus. If this is getting Tropical Island, I don't actually need to fetch yet, because sometimes I could draw something that would make this want to be Forest instead. Not this time, though. Tropical Island, Witch Enchanter, and Birthing Ritual. Now Cavern can force through whatever they want to force through. Under Mountain Adventurer. So I think a little mistake on my end. I think I could have waited to use Solitude for a little longer, and then potentially have a Solitude in hand still, or depending on how this goes. New Quantum Riddler. Alright, Riddler trigger on bottom. Let's just turn this into anything else. Ooh, Omnath? Omnath is great. The redraw matters a lot here. Wood Elves is also just quite strong, as crazy as that sounds. Just getting basic forest so that I can Wood Elves into Wood Elves and then be able to cast Magmatic Hellkite if I eat another Magus is totally reasonable. I think I'm just going to take Omnath for the redraw and the higher DMC. Elvish Spirit Guide. Sure. Alright, opponent going aggro this time. This is a vigilant creature. Super matters for cracking back and taking the initiative back. I'm at 9. But hopefully Birthing Ritual just finds me something like a Solitude here. Spirit Guide's fine. Another spell. That one I like a lot less. That one I like a lot less. They did tap this for mana, though. So, what does my opponent do if I attack with Omnath? I would love if they block and I get rid of Archon. Really weird what I do with regards to this landfall trigger. They might just chump. Okay, they do just chump. In which case, that becomes gain 4 life. And now I can Wood Elves or Riddler. I Wood Elves to get second landfall, but I can't do anything with that mana due to Archon. So I will just warp in Riddler. A little bit too much. Yeah, I will just warp in a Riddler and convert that into something else. 2 Spirit Guides. Okay, that's not actually all that bad. Stack this like this. Birthing Ritual trigger. I convert Quantum Riddler into Shardless Agent just to keep the body, because I'm otherwise losing it. So I lose 5. I'm at 8. I need to chump block Under Mountain Adventurer this turn. Opponent has so much mana. Oh no. Yeah. So the protection ability there works on warriors, and that forces through 7 damage this turn. 7 is scary. Oh, I guess it could be 8, depending on how the counter goes. Fuck, it's exactly 8. Ugh. I'm so close to stable here. The protection from creatures just means that I can't block. GG. Very, very, very close margins there. I don't know that I win if I make it one more turn cycle. Like, if this was just any other creature, I still got 3 bodies that I need to answer, but like the Omnath in play is a respectable amount of life. Maybe if I go for the Wood Elves on my turn. No, I'd already gained the life, so I couldn't go up to more life. Regardless, GG. That was an awesome match. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one. I think this probably is the Abzan Triome or whatever it's called into Volcanic Island. No, never mind. It doesn't fucking matter. All right, Cabal Therapy resolves. We're playing against Oops All Spells, and I have the wrong sort of hand for this matchup. Yeah, opponent name's Endurance. We know what's up. The Leyline Binding now matters a lot less, whereas finding a Force of Will matters a lot more. So this will now become Lush Portico. That's not Force of Will. That won't be castable fast enough. I could hit a red Spirit Guide next turn, I guess. Bulk, Birthing Ritual. If I die, I die. 14, Dark Ritual. Yep, there's the Spy. Trigger on Narcomoeba. There's Dread Return, there's Thassa's Oracle. Nothing too interesting about the list here, although there are Pact of Negations, and we should keep that in mind. Alright, fun, enjoyable magic. 4 Endurance, 4 Force of Negation, and I guess Gaddock Teague on Dread Return is something that matters. Gaddock Teague is very awkward if my opponent pivots into creatures, because it would stop my Leyline Bindings. We'll oof as well. In good news, most of my cards have reasonable amounts of text here. I'm going to start dragging things into the land pile that I can't get rid of. I can't get rid of you, and I can't get rid of you because I have to respect creatures. I can't get rid of you or you. You are stopping combos. This is too valuable to get rid of. Counting that as part of the mana base. Redraws are important. I'm probably getting rid of some number of Birthing Ritual, Shardless Agent, Wood Elves here. Birthing Ritual looks at Elector Oof and Aleshnorn and Hellkite. Let's get rid of Wood Elves as a starting point. Then let's trim in Omnoth. And I might just make it so Shardless Agent always cascades into Collector Oof or Up the Beanstalk rather than Birthing Ritual. This is a bad opening hand that I think I need to keep. The issue is that this doesn't beat a hand with protection. So a Thoughtseize rips this apart, for example. But I don't know that we can do too much better than this on the average draw. Okay, looks like I'm going to get some time. Time is incredibly good here. Let's turn that into a Surveil land. Shardless Agent is fine. That is simultaneously a blue and a green card that occupies a very, very important space. Let's make a land drop and pass, and I've got the intention of surveilling again. I will at their end step. Quantum Riddler. That's a blue card to pair with Force of Will. I will just take it. So let's see which one of our cards we hit here. I drop Endurance by casting this. Hopefully I just get that back, or I redraw something reasonable. Alright. I have a fistful of good cards. Let's see if I die. 17. There's an Informer. I will Force of Will that. Pitching a Quantum Riddler. I'll get a redraw here. There's a Pact of Negation. Resolves. Now I just need any blue or green card. I do get a green card. So now, with all of these triggers on the stack, I will go ahead and Endurance you. So they have a Resolved Pact of Negation. They're going to lose the game on their next turn. So, fetch. White, green, red, blue. I don't have untapped black here. We'll just do something like a Volcanic Island, and then we're going to cast the Hellkite on their blue source to just, like, super make sure that they were dead. We got kind of lucky. Our opponent didn't do much for a while. Back in we go. This is an okay hand. It has a counterspell for the creatures. It has Collector Oof or some pivot plans. I didn't actually look at their graveyard. I should have done that. This is fine. That's all that it is fine. I maybe can't throw back something that has turn 1 interaction and 2 land drops. It's not super likely that I end up with multiple forces or force plus endurance all at the same time. That resolves. Subtlety is probably not the one that they name. Alright, cool. We got a freebie. I will make a land drop past the turn, and we gotta hope that subtlety is enough to make it through to the next turn. 14. There's a Dark Ritual. Here's subtlety. Pitching Omnoth. Oh, joy. Wasn't that fun? We're now dead. Alright, there's 3 creatures. There's Dread Return. There's Thassa's Oracle. Alright. Didn't we all enjoy that? And that is a 2-3 finish, unfortunately. Alrighty. Overall thoughts on the deck list. That was a lot of fun. I think that's what this deck is. I think this is a deck that you sleeve up if you want to have a good time. The mana base is pretty good for what it is, but is not perfect. It's possible you should do something like cut the 2 Simian Spirit Guides to just play 2 more lands. Like, there were a couple of times where I wanted Underground Sea and Savannah in here. Having access to an untapped black source for Leyline Binding was sometimes relevant, where I both needed the mana and I needed to reduce the cost of Leyline Binding at the same time. But Underground Sea is only 1 color towards Omnoth, and the Spirit Guides are good. Like, being able to accelerate out that Shardless Agent a turn earlier is super important. And Spirit Guides really do help make Magmatic Hellkite more castable, who was a boss, by the way. My biggest question here is this Yorion build better than just playing a 60-card version that more consistently has access to Birthing Ritual and Shardless Agent, where the Shardless Agent always hits Birthing Ritual? And I suspect that a 60-card version is better than this version, but I don't know that for sure. Regardless, this was a good time. I'm glad I took the afternoon to do it, and I'm going to start packing for PAX Unplugged. Folks, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya!